All right. Welcome, everyone, to another mock draft here on Couch Potato Diary as we get ready for the start of the fantasy football season. If you're new here, we do a mock draft from each spot on a 12 team draft. We're going to throw a couple other ones in here this year. We've done a few so far, and today we are going with team number 4. And so let's begin. And let's see. So far, Team 2 has been my favorite. Let's see how we do in this one today. We will hit OK. And this draft is underway. I feel like we've learned a couple of lessons. One thing we're learning right now is my computer is moving slow. So that's really exciting that this is happening to us right now. Hopefully hopefully things get a little bit better. All right. So Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, and CeeDee Lamb go 1, 2, 3. In this case, like I still, with the quarterback situation out in Minnesota, I have to go with Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson in this spot. So we will go Jamar Chase with our 4th overall selection, and we will see where we go from here. I'm interested to see this because we kind of got bit by the turn the last time. So we'll see what it actually looks like on this go around. But after us, it goes Brees Hall and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is followed by A.J. Brown. Wow, this is getting really, really laggy on us. Apologies for those watching. Justin Jefferson doesn't go until 8th, followed by Bijan Robinson at 9. Jahmyr Gibbs goes in the 10 slot. At 11, it is Marvin Harrison Jr. And then Team 12 comes in and gets Garrett Wilson. And with their second pick into the first round, they get Jonathan Taylor. So I think we're going to be in a really interesting spot here. We've a couple of times we've doubled up, a couple of times, doubled up on wide receiver. A couple of times we've made sure to get a running back right away as well. So a few interesting ways that we could go as it slowly makes its way to us. Kyron Williams going just before us, as does Devontae Adams, then Puka Nacua, and right before us, Josh Allen comes off of the board. And so we're in a spot here where honestly I don't love a lot of the options that are available. When we look at it, there's Derrick Henry at the running back spot. We have Chris Olave, Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs is running back, so Olave obviously wide receiver out there with Brandon Ayuk. There is also Travis Kelce and Sam Laporta. Pacheco available also as a running back. My hope is that we can get one of Deebo Samuel or Mike Evans on the turn. I know waiting for 6 can be a little bit stressful, but my hope is we can get another wide receiver there. So I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I still think Derrick Henry being a beast in a run-heavy offense is going to be a real factor in fantasy this year. So Derrick Henry is going to be my pick with the running back spot there. After that, it's Ayuk, Olave, Pacheco goes, so does Kelce. Show me a Laporta. Sam Laporta goes as well, and Josh Jacobs. So it works out in the way we want. Deebo Samuel has been a guy we've been getting in every one of these mock drafts. I continue to absolutely love that. As a wide receiver 2 for our team, this is an absolute no-brainer. Now, this is where we got a little bit panicky in round 3 about the quarterbacks that were left at our disposal, and so we jumped at the tight ends after a bit of a tight end run and ended up with McBride in a spot where maybe we didn't necessarily love it. Things are picking up here. We do have another quarterback that's been taken. I think we've had another couple quarterbacks that have gone off of the board. So now we're in an interesting spot here. Cook is off the board, as is Kenneth Walker. There was a run on some quarterbacks with Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Bunch of wide receivers came off of the board as well. But we're still in a spot where when you look at quarterbacks that are available right now, it is Stroud, Richardson, Burrow, and Murray that are there. And I kind of view Murray as the cutoff a little bit. I think the more I've been prepping, Jordan Love moves into kind of that safety blanket territory there as well. So I don't feel like I need to rush and get one of them. Also, we have McBride, Mark Andrews, Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, and George Kittle. So again, I feel like we have a bit of a safety blanket there for guys that we are comfortable with. And this is right around, I think, where Joe Mixon becomes a real interesting play because I still think there is a talented football player there, and give him a really interesting offense out in Houston. I like the option that Joe Mixon provides. Plus, when you look at what's available at running back, it's him, Alvin Kamara, then Aaron Jones, James Conner, David Montgomery, and DeAndre Smith. So I feel like Joe Mixon is actually in a decent spot here as a running back. Take him there in the fourth. After that, it is Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, and then the computer froze again. CJ Stroud goes. So one of our quarterback safety blankets is gone. Alvin Kamara is off of the board. Trey McBride goes as well. And so this is where I might look at tight end because just judging from ADP, it does seem like in this next go around before it comes back to us that the tight end that we are going to want is probably going to come off of the board. Mark Andrews was in a car crash, which is not ideal. He is still such a talented player. And so I am going to take Mark Andrews with this pick here in the fifth round and hope that amazing upside that he has doesn't bite us. And now we hope that things don't burn us waiting for a quarterback here. I think a couple have come off of the board since then. Joe Burrow just left. We're kind of hoping that Kyler Murray sticks around for us. And it looks like he's going to. Okay, Burrow is there as well. I don't think, one quarterback came off of the board. That was Anthony Richardson. But we did see a tight end run. Even Evan Ingram goes before it came around to us. So I feel good about this pick with Mark Andrews going in this spot. So in terms of ADP, quarterbacks up next are Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott. Wide receivers, it's Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, and Rome Odunze. And at running back, it has fallen off quite a bit. It's Zamir White, and Raheem Mostert is there. You guys know we love Raheem Mostert. That's been working out for us so far. So I think this is another one where, my default has always been Kyler at this point, but Joe Burrow being there, there is a potential that he is the quarterback one. Now, Kyler could get to that as well, but I think bounce back season for Joe Burrow, and we get to stack that with Jamar Chase every week. Absolutely lock that in. And so now the receivers go off. Mostert goes there, so that stings a little bit. And now we're in a spot where I don't really love anyone that is here. And so looking at it, like Kyler Murray is still on the board, Jordan Love's still on the board. Maybe I could have gone Mostert in that spot and then still had an opportunity at a quarterback that we like. So admittedly, that's a bit of a bummer and probably a bit of a misplay. But it's why we're doing these, to work our way through. We are at a point where I don't love any of these options here. We have a minute and a half to go. Not going to draft Kyler. That feels a bit excessive. This might be, I haven't taken a shot on him yet. This might not be a bad time to roll the dice with an Xavier Worthy. We are kind of hoping with a pick here that he is going to be a flex player for us. And so that might be a little bit of a gamble. And but still, when you look at the wide receivers that we have with Debo and with Jamar Chase, I feel pretty good about Xavier Worthy being my wide receiver number 3. And so a couple quarterbacks come off of the board in Love and in Purdy. Kyler Murray goes as well. We have tight end Brock Bowers going, but again, a bunch of wide receivers go. Nick Chubb, a couple picks before us, stings a little bit. That's a player that I like quite a bit. But we have another one on the board here that I like, and that is Jalen Warren. It's the same as last year. I just feel like he is the most talented running back in the Pittsburgh offense right now. And so I think we have an opportunity to get a number 1 running back here in the 8th round in Jalen Warren. So we will take that and hope that some of those wide receivers that we've talked about throughout the draft process continue to get to us with Christian Watson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And there's a couple others there, but Watson goes right before us, so this makes it an easy one. Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be the pick here. Actually, like I say, that's an automatic one. Jameson Williams probably isn't coming back around to us, and I just think there is such an upside with that guy. Now, looking at what we have, we do have Xavier Worthy, which already feels like our roll of the dice wide receiver. So do we want something maybe a little bit more stable? The problem is we're not getting stable here in the 9th round. And And my one worry is like we have a couple of running backs in Mixon and in Henry that maybe aren't as locked in as we would like, just based off of age and injury and whatnot. And Brian Robinson there, and I think he takes over as like the number one guy, and Eckler is just kind of kind of just a secondary piece there. But I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with the receiver, and we're going to go Jameson Williams in this spot. There's no way Jackson Smith-Njigba is coming back around to us. And so at 4 here, we are seeing that where at 1, 2, and 3, we were getting like 2 to 3 of the guys who we want in that area. Now, because there's a bit of space between our picks, we're either going to have to reach for one. Like maybe I could have gone with a Christian Watson in that area at 8, and then come back around with a Williams at 9, but we're still only getting 2 of the guys that we would have wanted. This is a spot where now it is an automatic click. Jerome Ford, again, I think he's the number 1 running back with Cleveland. To get him here in the 10th round feels like an absolute steal of a deal. We have talked him up all preseason long. That is one that I feel very comfortable with getting him in the 10th round, given the injury issues that Nick Chubb has been dealing with. After that, it went Edwards, Dubs, Herbert, and then Charbonnet, Chase Brown, and Curtis Samuel. So it comes back around to us. At wide receiver, it's Lockett, Anodyne Mitchell, Khalil Shakir, and Jacoby Myers. At running back, there isn't a whole lot there early on for our ADP. It's Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, and Rico Dowdle are kind of the next ones here. So there isn't really a whole lot in this area of ADP that we absolutely love. We have 5 picks remaining. This does feel a little early to do what we've done before and just go, you know what, screw it, we're taking defense here. I think we can wait on that one more go around at least in this spot. But again, there just isn't a whole lot here that I am really digging. And so at this point, it feels like a reach, but everything here right now just feels like a reach. So we're going to go to the defense, and we're going to go with the San Francisco 49ers defense, locking it in the 11th round. Maybe a little bit early. We still have 4 picks left. And maybe like a Jacoby Myers out in Vegas comes back to bite us or anything like that. We're not taking a kicker until that 15th round pick. That I can assure you. But we're kind of hoping the board just kind of levels out a little bit, and there's a couple of guys there that we can get around later, and we still lock in a prime defensive target there. So I think this is probably the strategy I'll go with in actual real life drafts. The pick comes back around to us, a couple quarterbacks drafted, a couple tight ends in there as well. And again, as I've said before, in a spot where there aren't even a whole lot of like, oh man, you know what? This guy has a bit of a sleeper, whatever. But I do think we've taken him once before. I think Jalen Polk, a lot of the talk out of Patriots camp talking about how good he has been. I'm going to go Jalen Polk, take a shot with a rookie wide receiver here in the 12th round. After that, it goes Musgrave of the Packers, then Rico Dowdle, Xavier Legette, Ty Chandler, back around to team 2. Matt Stafford goes off of the board, then the Jets defense, and now it gets to us here in the 13th round. So again, we are into roll of the dice territory. As you kind of scroll down, there is a few kickers that kind of get in the way, admittedly, when you're looking in the ADP game. There's one running back I am kind of looking at here. It does kind of feel like I think Khalil Herbert is going to get more of this backfield than people really give him credit for with DeAndre Swift there. So I'm going to go Khalil Herbert here in the 13th round. And that's another one where I feel like there is a pretty clear path to playing time this season for that running back. And I feel pretty good about making that play with this particular player. And as it comes back around to us in the 14th round, I've had a play in my mind that I think I might try to do here. For those of you watching on YouTube, I did click on the tight end bar just to see as it comes up. And now as our pick is here, scrolling to the top, Isaiah Likely is available. I am generally not one for the handicap. The handcuff. Sorry. Handicapping is a different part that we're going to be doing a little bit later on. I'm generally not one for the handcuff here, but Isaiah Likely is just like such a straight line from Andrews to him. And you get like you just keep a very big chunk of a very good offense. So you know what? I am totally fine making taking a bit of a gamble and taking a backup kick or a backup tight end with our second to last pick, and then our last pick it comes back around to the kickers, and we will just take Daniel Carlson, and that will be that. And so you know what? There's still I don't love the bench on Team 4 as much as I did on Team 2, but there is a bit to like I think on this team. And I think we actually did all right with this group. So our starting lineup, Joe Burrow will be our quarterback. Mark Andrews, our tight end. Our starting receivers are Jamar Chase and Deebo Samuel. Our starting running backs are Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon. And in our flex, it'll be Xavier Worthy or Jalen Warren, Jamison Williams, Jerome Ford, and a couple lottery tickets on Polk, Herbert, and Isaiah Likely. Our kicker is Daniel Carlson, and our defense, the San Francisco 49ers defense. We're going to continue doing this all throughout the preseason here as we get ready for the start of September in fantasy football season. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're watching this, make sure you like it. If you're listening, make sure you review it. Subscribe to both. Follow me on social media at Primetime Klein, and I will talk to all of you later. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.